As we come to the end of 2024, we say hello to what 2025 has in store for ETF investors. The market has gone up like crazy in 2024, which means that you would have made a ton of money this year. I know I did of a little over $22,000 in my taxable and Roth IRA account and over $2,200 in my 401k investing account. There's so many things that are actually going to heavily affect ETFs and ETF investing in 2025. Like we have the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell cutting interest rates, inflation in the USA overall decreasing, the post-United States election madness, and rumors of a potential recession looming in the upcoming year of 2025. Now I know that was a lot, but in this video, I'm going to provide you 5 of the best ETFs to invest in for 2025. So without further ado, let's get started. The first ETF is AVUV, the Avantis US Small Cap Value ETF. Historically, after a rate cut, stocks across all market caps tend to rally and go up. However, small cap stocks usually outperform and go up way more, because small caps usually rely way more on external financing than their large cap peers. So when rates are cut right now and in the future, that will immediately boost the savings for small caps and allow them to grow and expand at a way faster rate than before. So with that, AVUV invests in a broad set of some of the best performing and high quality small cap stocks in the stock market. AVUV has an expense ratio of 0.25%, a B+ rating by Seeking Alpha, and a dividend yield of around 1.5%. AVUV has a broad amount of stocks in the ETF from many different sectors, mostly invested in financials, industrials, consumer discretionary, energy, and materials, with some of its top holdings being Matson, Alaska Air Group, JTX, Mueller Industries, and SM Energy. This ETF has even had amazing returns for a small cap ETF of nearly 15% annually over the last 5 years and over 15% annually as well over the life of the fund. And AVUV should be poised for another great year in 2025 with more rate cuts on the horizon. The next ETF is IBIT, iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF. IBIT enables investors access to Bitcoin through the convenience of an ETF, which takes the complexity out of buying Bitcoin through something like a cold storage wallet. But you can also buy Bitcoin through various crypto trading firms as well. IBIT has an expense ratio of 0.12%, which is way lower than its competitors. This ETF has even had a great performance over the last year of nearly 100% returns. And with Bitcoin's strong performance over its history, this fund can be poised for great performance in the future if future President Donald Trump keeps that promise of making the USA the crypto capital of the world. And since the November election in the USA, we've seen so many investors flood their capital to Bitcoin as of lately. But given this very higher risk, higher reward type play, I would prefer to keep any sort of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency a small portion of an overall diversified portfolio of no more than 2.5% or max 5% exposure to your overall net worth. Thank you Moomoo for sponsoring this portion of the video. Moomoo is an award-winning app designed for active investors. With over 23 million users and it's growing fast in many different countries. What I love about this app is that there's no gimmicks, no platform fees, and no minimum deposits required to open an account. Additionally, they are a $0 commission investing platform, and you can even buy stocks and ETFs on Moomoo with fractional shares for as little as $5. They have an extensive selection of ETFs to choose from, 24/7 financial news to help you stay on top of your investments, and a wide variety of cool features like analyst ratings, 200+ educational resource guides on how to invest in the stock market, heat maps of the market, and you can even see what notable investors like Warren Buffett are buying or selling. Moomoo has the best sign-up bonus I've seen, where if you sign up with the link in the description of this video, you can receive up to 15 free stocks worth between $2 up to $2,000 each with Moomoo. And they're also giving new users 8.1% APY interest on your uninvested cash for a limited time, so go ahead and check that out for that sign-up bonus. The third ETF is more of a category of ETFs, and that is broad market ETFs. Broad market ETFs are ETFs that have a broad amount of sectors in the fund, hundreds if not thousands of stocks within the fund, and overall provide the best form of diversification and stable returns to your portfolio. Some of my favorite broad market ETFs are VU by Vanguard, SPLG by Spider, VTI by Vanguard, VT by Vanguard, and so many other great broad market ETFs and mutual funds that deserve a spot on this list that are excellent equivalents to the ones I just mentioned. For me, I have so much money invested in VU, so I will talk about that in this video because it is my highest holding in my overall diversified portfolio. Now, VU tracks the S&P 500, which represents and provides exposure to 500 of the largest companies that represent the US economy. VU has an expense ratio of 0.03%, an A+ rating by Seeking Alpha, and a dividend yield of around 1.2%. VU has great diversification because it has so many sectors in the market, like it is invested in technology stocks, financials, healthcare, consumer discretionary, and communication services, with some of its top holdings being Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. VU has had some of the most reliable returns in the stock market for investors to create so much wealth, of nearly 13% annually over the last decade and over 15% annually over the last 5 years. Now, no one knows which stocks, ETFs, or sectors are going to perform the best out of them all in 2025. But a broad market ETF takes all that stress and research out of the way and gives you the best shot to make some sort of profit in 2025. The next ETF is yet another ETF category, that of a growth ETF. Growth ETFs invest in stocks of companies that have the potential for above average growth. This can lead to amazing returns and market outperformance. But know that this is a very volatile investment and something that is a higher risk, higher reward type investment for long-term investing. Some of my favorite growth ETFs are SHG by Charles Schwab, SMH by VanEck, QQQM by Invesco, VGT by Vanguard, and so many other excellent growth ETFs that deserve a spot on this list that can provide excellent returns in the future for stock market investors. One ETF that I invest in heavily in my Roth IRA is SHG by Charles Schwab, their US large cap growth ETF, but please know that I also own QQQM by Invesco in my taxable brokerage account. SHG has an expense ratio of 0.04%, an A+ rating by Seeking Alpha, and a dividend yield of around 0.4%, where SHG's top sectors are heavily invested in those growth sectors like technology, communication services, consumer discretionary, healthcare, and financials. And some of its top holdings are Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. This ETF is just coming off some of its best returns ever of over 16% annually over the last 10 years and over 19% annually over the last 5 years. And if the market goes up again a lot in 2025, this ETF should be poised to take advantage of that rising market. The fifth ETF is yet another category, this time dividend ETFs. Dividend ETFs invest in a broad basket of dividend-paying stocks, which can be great to potentially live off of dividends or to live off of passive income for the rest of your life. Some of my favorite dividend ETFs are SHD by Charles Schwab, DGRO by iShares, FDVV by Fidelity, JEPQ by JP Morgan, and so many other great dividend ETFs that deserve a spot on this list that are amazing for long-term investing. Now, I do own 2 dividend ETFs in my overall portfolio, but my favorite is going to be SHD by Charles Schwab, their US dividend equity ETF, for its diversification and overall great stability for long-term investors. SHD has an expense ratio of 0.06%, an A+ rating by Seeking Alpha, and a high dividend yield of around 3.4%. Now, what I like about SHD is that it doesn't have that much technology stocks, where it's heavily invested in financials, healthcare, consumer staples, industrials, and energy. And some of its top holdings are BlackRock, Bristol Myers, Cisco Systems, Chevron, and Home Depot. SHD is also the king of dividend ETFs for its great performance of over 11% annually over the last 10 years and over 12% annually over the last 5 years. If you're skeptical whether the market is going to go up or going into a recession, the thing about dividend ETFs that I love is that you're almost guaranteed to always make money from a high dividend yield, and these ETFs with the stocks in it have amazing stocks of companies that generate great cash flows and can make a ton of money in the long run if you just reinvest your dividends and be a long-term investor. And there you have it, 5 of the best ETFs to invest in for 2025 of small caps, Bitcoin or crypto, broad market ETFs, growth ETFs, and of course, great dividend ETFs. If you guys like this video, please give it a like because this cute puppy did. Now right here is going to be a video on my top 7 ETFs in my own investing portfolio. Have a great rest of your day, continue to crush in the stock market, and take it easy. Peace.